Hi and welcome back to Stranger Things Season 3 Episode 8 Finale, The Battle of Starcourt Part 2. So far the thing that was infecting 11's leg has been extracted. 11 is still very, very weak from her ordeal. Billy tried to kill everyone but he's failed. People have escaped and gone off, and Susie has been made contacted. That's not even a sentence. Susie has been contacted. She was able to give Dustin the Planck's constant, which is the code to get the keys that Hopper needs to destroy the machine. It's getting very, very complicated, and we're going to continue. 1, 2. Oh, of course the Hitman has to come back, doesn't he? Ow. I don't think you're going to win this fight, Hopper. Wow. Hey, fireworks did work. Wow. Okay, the fireworks worked better than I was thinking they would. Oh, it's hurting him. It's hurting him. Keep doing that. You're going to run out of fireworks, aren't you? Jim's taking a bit of a beating there. Dangerously close to that out of control machine. Can you do it yourself? Yeah, that's going to be the key, isn't it?
On the beach.
That's it, they're bringing Billy back. She's bringing Billy back. This is good.
There were seagulls.
Just a kid.
I'll see you in hell.
Ow! Did you just get blasted through the gate or something? Or just blasted? Billy's going to defeat it. Oh, sacrificing himself. He's no longer of use to the Mind Flayer, so... Close it, close it. Billy's dead, I think. You don't survive that. But why hasn't Joyce done the... Come on! Well, that wasn't at the same time, was it? Am I being nitpicky? But now they've got to destroy the body. Oh! They did destroy the body. Really? Is it over? Can't be all. Oh, still got another 25 minutes. So what's going to happen now that that means it's not over yet.
Jim, where's Jim?
I think he got obliterated. Oh, now they arrive. Now it's too late. It's all been dealt with. Where did they hear about it though? Or are these Russians? No, they can't be Russians, can they?
Don't shoot, American. We're Americans. Americans!
In Russian uniforms. Oops. Oh God, 11. God, Joyce. Don't let us surmise that way. That's cruel. At least just tell her. So wrong.
A terrible tragedy struck this small town. But this was not this small town's first brush with tragedy. Mysterious deaths, government cover-ups, a bizarre chemical leak. Can a town itself be cursed? Some believe a rise in Satan. To find out, tune in tonight at 8 p.m. for Horror in the Heartland on Cutting Edge.
Of course, that's what they turn it into. Do it, Jonathan, do it. Stick around.
Hey. It's gonna be okay.
Oh, where's she going to go then? Is she going with Joyce? No. Living with Mike? Has she got no powers anymore?
They'll come back. I know they will.
Why did Hopper have to die? He's the best one. That means there's going to be no season 4. At least not one I'm interested in.
Donation box.
To make things go back to how they were.
He wishes he could do that now.
But I know that's naive. It's just not how life works. It's moving. Always moving, whether you like it or not. For the sake of your poor old dad, keep the door open 3 inches.
Oh, we're going to get a bloody song now, aren't we? Really? Oh right, this is where the first bit, right at the beginning, was. Did Hopper survive and got taken to Russia? Where are they taking him?
Я не виновен. Я не прошу вас.
Uh-oh. I've got a feeling this is going to be a Demogorgon or a Demodog or whatever. Yep. Oh, they're walking upright now, are they? Okay, that was the conclusion to Season 3 of Stranger Things. And what a conclusion it was. I mean, it was superb. It was magnificent. Edge of your seat writing. Just, I know I have a tendency of being overly exuberant about things, and I don't want to feel as though I'm exaggerating for dramatic purposes or anything, but that was excellent. And it felt like a conclusion, like really more than the other seasons did. We had that montage at the end of, I'm going to call it the stranger than fiction section, where we had that documentary thing, and it remembered Barb, and it reflected upon all the strange things that have happened in the town right from the beginning, which is made it feel like a conclusion in itself. And then we had Joyce and 11, Will, Jonathan all moving away. We had Hopper dying. All these things again made it feel like a conclusion, like the previous seasons were good. Don't get me wrong, the previous seasons have been excellent, but this season they really stepped it up a gear. Now that I've seen season 3, it does feel to me like seasons 1 and 2 were just build up, just setting the scene for this. But then we got the bit at the end, and it's a kind of setup for season 4, because after that I don't see why it wouldn't be renewed for another season. How I feel about that, Stranger Things without Hopper. If there is going to be a season 4, it's going to be dramatically different from these previous 3 seasons. Right, anyway, carry on. Right, double episode as well. Well, not double episode, extended episode, which did come as a surprise to me. I mean, I was about 40 minutes in, and I'm thinking, this has only got another 10 minutes to go. How are they going to conclude everything? We're not even close to a conclusion to this. And then looked and saw that there was another 40 minutes to go, and that was a lovely surprise. Which is why I had to split it into 2. But I've split it into 2 much shorter reactions, so the overall reaction is... In this season we got some new characters, which was nice. Alexei. I liked Alexei. And Robin. I like Robin as well. Don't see Alexei coming back in the next season, because he's dead. But Robin, she could be a welcome addition. And she went straight into main character here. And we also got Erica as well. I know she's been already introduced, but this is the first time she's actually played a part in the action, which was good. But I'll come back to characters. Okay, so I've already mentioned that I think that season 3 was a A++ success. I think one of the reasons why is the fact that it was split into 4 groups. This allowed for, well, a more complex plot, a more widespread plot, all the way to Murray in wherever he lived, hundreds of miles away, without compromising the main storyline. It's difficult to compare season 3 to seasons 1 and 2, because now that I've watched it, as I said, it feels like more of a continual story, a slow build up to the conclusion that we got. So, maybe it's just worth exploring the characters a little bit more. But first, I'll mention the music, because the music has been, again, next level. The music was always good in season 1 and 2. Michael Stein and Kyle Dixon responsible for that. But in this season, I don't know what it was. It's maybe they were influenced by a more widespread range of composers. Maybe they just had some fresh ideas of what to do. the music just seemed better. No, better's the wrong word. I should say more adventurous. Don't know why I feel that way. Maybe it's because, unlike in previous seasons, in this season I've started noticing the little musical references that they include, little nods to 80s and 70s horror sci-fi scores, things like Goblin and even Vangelis, Morricone. Obviously we got a massive Alan Silvestri reference in one of the episodes of this season with the Back to the Future stuff. Fritzy, Williams, I can hear all of these. Even, Jean-Michel Jarre. The real difference, I think, is that all those people I just mentioned tend to put their creepy, eerie themes and melodies in the mid to high tone range. Violins, violas, flutes, even the synths tend to be in the mid to high range. Whereas Michael Stein and Carl Dixon have really kept it in the bass. And I've noticed no drums, not even bass drums, throughout the score. Just heavy synth bass. Personally, I love that style. And it's such a clean sound, and it's such a 70s and 80s sound. I mean, synths don't tend to sound like that, modern synths. That is a real 70s and 80s sound that they use. It's amazing how they get that feel. At some point I really want to listen to all 3 soundtracks separate from the programme, so I can really let my imagination run wild and get a real feel of the music. But right now it's still intertwined with the visuals that it sets. Let's move on. Let's go into the characters. Okay then, a lot of characters, so I'll try and make this brief. Jim Hopper, played by David Harbour. Jim Hopper went from a thoroughly dislikable character to, I think, probably most people's favourite adult character in this show in a matter of episodes, if not within the first episode. And I can't help but think I was manipulated into feeling that way by the writing, the good writing. When we first see him, he is drunk, disrespectful, insulting, and when he finally does turn up for work hungover, he ignores a emergency call to his office in order to cure his hangover. Not a man to be respected. And then, boom, he believes what is, to begin with, unbelievable. He investigates well, he becomes a good detective. He changes his bad lifestyle in a good way, quickly, to the point where he becomes a father to Elle. And he has had the patience to, gain her trust very, very slowly. I think over the course of 3 seasons, Jim Hopper's character has had the most character growth. That being said, Joyce has had some pretty good character growth herself. Joyce Byers, played by the wonderful Winona Ryder. I have liked Winona Ryder since I first saw her all those years ago. I don't know which is the first film I ever saw her in. Edward Scissorhands. Was she in Heathers? It could have been one of those two. She's brilliant. And she has been brilliant in this as well. When we first saw her, she was newly divorced, possibly newly divorced, struggling to cope financially and emotionally with her 2 children and her lifestyle and everything. And in this last episode, we see her asking Jim out on a date, taking that plunge, getting her life back. She's already got her life back in order. Wonderful, wonderful. I really like Joyce, and it's just a shame that when she was finally able to realise that her and Jim did have a spark that was worth exploring, he died. Again. Same thing happened with Bob as well, didn't it? Joyce is really unlucky in love, isn't she? Will, played by Noah Schnapp. He had very little action in the first season. He was kind of central to the plot, but not part of the plot. Because he was trapped in the Upside Down, he had very little interaction that season with the rest of the characters. So we didn't really get to know him. And although Noah Schnapp played the role really well, we didn't really get to see the extent of what Noah Schnapp can do. I really love saying his name. Season 2, he was possessed. So again, we got to see a lot more of what Noah is able to portray, but we didn't get to know Will because he was possessed. It's only in this season that we have got to know him properly. And to be fair, his storyline this season was rather tragic, rather beautiful as well. As the kids move into this new in-between area of their lives, not quite children anymore, not adults yet either. This in-between time, seeing Will cling on to childhood just for those last few weeks was just, it was wonderful. It was just wonderfully acted and so true to real life, because children do not mature at the same rate. Even children of the apparent same age. And Will, I know, is the youngest of the group, but he's not that much younger. But this season, that gap has been really telling and really a good part of Will's storyline. And again, we have really got to see what what Noah Schnapp is capable of acting wise. He's a brilliant young actor, brilliant. Lucas, played by Caleb McLaughlin. I get this guy's name wrong all the time. Lucas, Jacob, Justin. I don't know where I am with his name. Don't know why this is. He's still the comedian. He's still the street smart guy. I mean, Dustin's the brain guy, the book smart guy. But Lucas has got street smarts. Lucas is, yeah, he's probably, I would say, the most mature of the children. I mean, he's on a par with Dustin. They're both quite mature, but for their age. But I think Lucas just has that edge on Dustin. Obviously, they are still kids, so they are still immature. But yeah, I think Lucas is the one that's maturing the fastest. Mike, played by Finn Wolfhard. And with a name like that, it's a good job as an actor. That's all I can say. I really liked Mike in the first 2 seasons. It felt like he was the main character aside from Elle. Like the male lead, so to speak. But this season, yeah, I didn't like him at all at the beginning. Adolescence is not being kind to him. He's turned arrogant and disrespectful and rude. And unfortunately, Elle was learning this stuff off of him as well. I'm glad that Jim handled it the way he did. Scared the living daylights out of him. You know, I liked Joyce's advice to him. It was good advice. But no, I think Jim handled it the way a 14-year-old... I'm not good at getting ages right. 15-year-old? I'd say 15. That's not a way a 15-year-old would have respected. The way Jim handled it, that's the way a 15-year-old would respect. Okay, let's talk about 11. Millie Bobby Brown played her. Or should I call her Jane Hopper? Or should I call her Jane Byers? This girl is going through names. I don't have much to say about Elle. I mean, she's getting more powerful. Again, like Mike, her character took a little bit of a dive at the beginning of this season, but it picked back up again. I think a lot of her character story lies in her learning, because she never really had anyone her own age to learn social interactions and things like that. And now she is surrounded by people, you know, kids her own age. She's getting a lot of mixed signals about how she should act, how. But then she met up with Max, and Max and her had some quiet time alone, and that was good. That was good, because it's good that she got that peer bonding. You know, a girl her own age, teach her how to be a girl of 15 or whatever age they are supposed to be. I don't know. But let's talk about Millie Bobby Brown, because she is exceptionally good. I really, out of all of the child actors that are in this season, or in this series, I really see Millie Bobby Brown as being the one that goes into the serious roles in later life, if she chooses to become an actor in adult life. But if she does, she's going to be, you know, Laurence Olivier, Judi Dench, Glenda Jackson level. Well, should I say she has the potential of being that. But lots of child actors do have that potential. It's what she makes of it. But yeah, I see great things in her. Max, played by Sadie Sink. See, I'm glad Max and Billy were turned into main characters this season. Their introduction last season was a little bit shaky, I think. It created that silly little adolescent love triangle between Lucas and Dustin, was it? Lucas and Dustin and Max? I can't remember. I'm not a fan of deliberately creating love triangles in TV shows, because it just complicates and detracts away from the main storyline. So I'm glad that by the time this season's come along, we have a definitive answer. She's chosen Lucas. I think they make a good couple. I like Max and Lucas. Although, again, maturity levels, Max being a girl, girls do actually mature at a slightly faster rate than boys. So, but as I said before, the scenes of her and 11 were some of my favourite of her character storyline. And she did play a crucial role in the main plot as well. So, next we have Billy, played by... I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce his first name. Dacre Montgomery. Okay, I don't ever want to say that again. Superbly acted. I I really, really hated Billy in the second season. Quite rightly, he was a bully, and far worse bully than we've seen so far, or that we had seen so far. He was abusive to his sister, stepsister. So he was a thoroughly dislikable character. And I thoroughly disliked him. So good writing and good acting. And yet in season 3, we have a Billy that's possessed. So we get to hate him and feel sympathy for him at the same time, which was strange. And I did feel sympathy for him. That the scene where he showed Elle through his memories was, I can feel it welling up even thinking about it. It was just so beautiful and terrifying and horrible and lovely and all sorts of conflicting things. I just love it when writers, and particularly the cinematography and the way it was filmed, just added to the emotion of the scene. Yeah, I'm really hoping if we do have a season 4, we're going to have a Billy that isn't possessed and may have matured a little bit to become, I'm not going to say like Steve or like Jonathan, because Billy's always going to be a little bit in your face, a little bit aggressive, but at least controllable, so that we can get to know the real Billy and maybe get to like the real Billy a little bit. Only time will tell on that one. Right, Dustin, played by Gaten Matarazzo. I hope I got that right. He's the book smart one of the gang, and he's very smart. Possibly smarter than most of the adults. Well, with the exception of, you know, his teachers and Murray and etc. But, you know, he's pretty smart. Is what I'm saying. He had some real character growth this season. He's had some real character growth throughout the entire 3 seasons. Went from that gawky kid that was lisping all the time and his teeth hadn't come through properly, to a quite rounded individual that is going to be possibly a teacher in the future. You don't know, but I think it's his friendship with Steve I like the most. Despite the age difference, their friendship is really quite precious. And yeah, it shows how much character growth Steve's had as well. But yeah, I really like Dustin, but I haven't really got much to say about him. Next, Jonathan and Nancy. I'm including both of these together. Charlie Heaton and Natalia Dyer. See, they were in the action throughout this season, like investigating and risking their jobs and really getting into the action. But I didn't really feel as though either of them had any sort of character growth or character storyline whatsoever. They were just sort of there, which is a shame, because they're 2 characters that I've really liked in the past. I suppose their story is that they're learning how adult relationships work, that it's a matter of compromise and you don't always get your own way, and sometimes you have arguments. Like I said, I don't really know. In all fairness, Mike's group, Mike, Will, Lucas, Max, 11, they could have split that into 2 groups and done Jonathan and Nancy's job for them. Jonathan and Nancy didn't really need to be in this season, is what I'm saying. That maybe a few wasted opportunities there. I don't know, but yeah, I wasn't happy with Jonathan and Nancy's general storyline this season. It just seemed to be a little bit flat. Let's go on with Steve, played by Joe Keery. Yeah, another character like Hopper that went from zero to hero, in my opinion, in, well, one season. Because when we first met him, he was a bully, and he treated Jonathan absolutely appallingly. He was a jock. He was everything everyone hates about a bully. Obviously, we met Billy later and found out what a true bully really is. But, you know, Steve was bully enough to make Jonathan's life a misery, and therefore I just didn't like him. You know, who would like a bully? But then he changed. You know, losing that fight and losing everything, like everything that he felt important to him at that time. You know, his respect, his girlfriend, his so-called friends, and then found out that they meant absolutely nothing, and that was a turning point for Steve. His character growth from there on was skyrocketed. His friendship with Dustin, his acceptance of who he was, and that it didn't really matter what other people thought of him. I kind of wish that Steve and Robin had got together, but we know why that's not going to happen. But they could still have a really good friendship, Steve and Robin. So in that respect, in the friendship respect, I ship Steve and Robin. Talking of Robin, played by Maya Hawke, one of the new characters introduced this season, and straight into the action as well. I don't think her character was strictly needed for the storyline. Again, her character could be replaced with one we'd already met and suffice just as well. But her inclusion was nice, and she was a good character once we started to get to know a bit about her. Once that bitchy facade dropped, and, well, it's pretty much when she started getting into the action and when she cracked the code, and we got a lot of character growth from then till the end of the season. So yeah, I want her included in season 4 if we get one. Okay, let's talk about Erica, Prior Ferguson. She's not annoying in the least, is she? No, maybe a bit. But don't get rid of her. She's a good character, and there needs to be that sort of character in a show like this. The sassy one, the annoying one. And she's good at being annoying. Prior Ferguson plays annoying, plays the know-it-all sassy brat really well. It's a role that's needed in this show. So, yeah, she was annoying, but she was meant to be. Murray, played by Brett Gelman. Angry, funny. I definitely feel like his inclusion this season was for exposition only. You know, helping translate Alexei's words. But it came with a truly wonderful personality. And, as I said, exposition, getting to the root of Jim and Joyce's sexual tension. It moved that along, that side of the storyline along faster than it would have transpired otherwise. So yeah, I felt his inclusion was exposition only, but it was good exposition. And finally, Alexei and the Hitman. Alexei played by Alec Utgoff, and the Hitman played by Andrei Ivchenko. They're both new characters. They're both really important characters, and I really liked them, and they're both dead. But they were good in their roles. The Hitman was really scary, and the way it was filmed, especially in the fairground, He came out of nowhere, and it was such a surprise. There was some good acting and good writing. His face just blank. And Alexei, a little bit of comic relief, a little bit nerdy, but again, played really well. I thought, yeah, it's actually a shame that Alexei died. He would have been a good inclusion in the next season, but these things happen. Hopper died. So I don't really care about Alexei that much. not compared to Hopper. Okay, there's lots of themes and references running through all of the seasons of Stranger Things. Way too many to notice all of them on a first watch. And one day maybe I will sit down and watch all of Stranger Things with the deliberate intention of trying to spot every single reference. But that's not today. So I can only comment on a few of the ones that I've spotted. First of all, there's a few in the titles of the episodes. Weirdo on Maple Street, I feel, is a reference to Nightmare on Elm Street. There's also Mad Max. There's Dig Dug, which was a 80s video game. There's others, I'm sure. Also, there's some references going in through the plot lines and through the storylines. Season 1, I think, was an entire gigantic reference to Poltergeist, because it's about a child that is kidnapped by a malevolent force, taken to another dimension, and then the parents and the child have to find a way of communicating to each other, and then a rescue is mounted to bring the child safely back. It's pretty much Poltergeist. Season 2, I think, was a massive reference to The Exorcist. A malevolent force possesses a child in our world, and the adults and the people around have to drag and draw that malevolent force out of the child. Sounds like Exorcist to me. Season 3, I haven't had enough time to actually formulate a theory on season 3. I'm probably going to go with either something like Village of the Damned, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. No. Maybe The Thing. I'm not entirely sure for season 3, but okay, I'll come back to that. That wasn't really very well thought out at all, was it? Okay, let's wrap this up. This is going on way too long. Oh yeah, there was other references in the thing. I did spot Videodrome in there. It. In fact, a lot of Stephen King references, a lot of Steven Spielberg references. Jaws, It, Stand By Me. There is too many to contemplate right now. So season 4 and beyond. I have just found out, like in the course of making this video, that season 4 has been confirmed. So am I interested in a season 4 without Jim Hopper? Yeah, of course I am. I mean, I don't drop TV series until I'm no longer interested in the plot, and I'm still interested, even though season 3 felt like a good place to stop. They're obviously not going to, and yes, I will watch. I will be watching it. I'm not happy that Jim Hopper's not going to be in it, but well, even good writers can write themselves into a corner, but a really good writer can write himself back out again. There could be a way of bringing Jim Hopper back in some believable fashion. Only time will tell. But there is one thing. before I wrap up. We never did get a definitive reason why the flayed were eating the chemicals. I know we got implied reasons, and I know we can use our imaginations to fill in the gaps, but we never got a definitive answer. Thank you very much for watching this overly rambly reaction video. Until Stranger Things comes back, I will bid you adios. Keep well. Bye-bye. Because he was trapped in the underworld, up there. Andre, I can't do that. No. Played by it's played by Alexei Hitman. And I should also thank all these wonderful people here. One day I will actually read out all their names, but right now I'm a bit scared that I'm going to mispronounce their names. So, oh, what the hell? Why not? I'll give it a go. Here we go.